We're going to take a quick look at all of the applications in the Creative Suite 3 Web Premium that we're going to be using. The Web Premium Suite has inherited 4 applications from Studio 8, namely Dreamweaver, Flash, Fireworks, and Contribute. And the Web Premium adds Adobe Photoshop, Illustrator, Bridge, Acrobat Professional, and Adobe Device Central CS3, which is a brand new application that lets you create and preview assets for mobile devices. So that is a lot of applications in one package, and certainly everything that a web designer needs to create some really rich and engaging websites. We'll start with Illustrator. And for our project, we're going to be starting off in Illustrator by creating a logo for our website based on a scan that we've been given by the customer. And we're going to take this logo and we're going to incorporate it into our Photoshop design. We're also going to bring this into Flash. And if you've struggled with bringing Illustrator files into Flash, CS3 totally takes care of that by providing you a very efficient way of taking assets across these applications. Illustrator CS3 also introduces a brand new feature called Live Color, which lets you create and edit color groups, experiment with color harmonies, as well as reassign or reduce colors in your artwork. There's also integration with a brand new Adobe community site called Cooler, which allows designers to share color groups or themes. So again, we're going to be using Illustrator to take this scanned artwork and convert it into a logo for our site. So we're going to take this logo and we're going to bring it into Photoshop for our website layout. So we'll switch over to Photoshop, and this is our completed layout. And Photoshop really doesn't need an introduction because it's been an essential part of a web designer's toolkit for a long time. And with CS3, we've got better integration between Photoshop and Dreamweaver, so you're going to have a much more streamlined workflow going from a Photoshop website mockup to an HTML web page. Photoshop CS3 also adds a ton of new features, but if you're an interactive designer, what's really going to get you is the Photoshop to Flash workflow. We're going to use Photoshop to build out our complete website mockup. We're going to incorporate our logo design, and then we're also going to be using Photoshop when we're building a Flash-based slideshow. So we're going to take our website layout and isolate the navigation bar, and we're going to bring it into Fireworks. So we'll tab back to Bridge, and in our website, we'll just open up the navigation file, and if we double-click on it, Bridge will launch the associated application, which is Fireworks in this case. And we're going to take the flat bitmap image of the navigation bar, and we're going to slice it up, and we're going to add some CSS-based pop-up menus. We're going to take what we've done in Photoshop and take what we've done in Fireworks, and we're going to bring that into Dreamweaver. So Adobe Dreamweaver CS3 is the industry standard tool for building websites and web applications, and it's replaced Adobe Go Live as the web development tool of choice in the creative suites. So Dreamweaver CS3 adds some really great features like better support for visual CSS authoring. We've got some starter pages, which we're going to use. We've got an online companion site called the CSS Advisor that we're going to take a look at. There's better integration with Photoshop, like I mentioned, so you can copy and paste images from Photoshop directly into Dreamweaver. There's better integration with Bridge, and there's also integration with Device Central, so we can preview our content on a mobile device emulator. In addition to the homepage layout that we have here, we're also going to create a secondary level layout, and we're going to create a template based on that layout, and we're going to be using that template extensively when we switch over to Contribute. Because accessibility to this website from a handheld device is important to us, we're going to use Adobe Device Central CS3 to preview our content. So we'll switch over to Device Central, and you can see that this is what our site is going to look like on a mobile device. We can use the emulator to interact with the phone, and we can see exactly how our features are going to show up and how the rest of our site text is going to appear. So let's switch back to Dreamweaver. Now for the main features area, we're going to be using a Flash animation. So we're going to build that in Flash. We're also going to build an interactive video player in Flash, as well as a slideshow. So we'll switch over to Flash. And you can see that we've got our interactive slideshow open, which we're going to build using our image files and a Flash template. We're also going to build our Flash messaging area, and we're going to use our Photoshop layout file. And I think one thing that you're really going to get a kick out of is how easy it is to import Photoshop files. The Photoshop files retain their layer hierarchy in the timeline as well as the library. You can bring in layers as bitmaps or symbols. You can bring in layers as layers, or you can bring them in as Flash keyframes. You can merge Photoshop layers together as they're being brought into Flash, and the colors remain consistent. So that workflow is really, really streamlined. We're also going to be building an interactive video player in Flash. And to do that, we're going to take the QuickTime movies that we have in our assets folder, and we're going to convert them into Flash video files. So we're going to be spending some time looking at the Flash video encoder, which allows you to take these QuickTime movies or other types of video assets and batch encode them to Flash. So we'll talk about the different settings that you can change to get the best video quality at the smallest file size. Lastly, one of the customer requirements that we had is to be able to make content updates to the site themselves, which is fine by us because I think we'd rather be designing sites rather than copying and pasting web copy. So we'll use Adobe Contribute CS3 and Dreamweaver templates to enable that. Now let's launch Contribute. So Contribute has launched in the background, so we'll just Alt-Tab to it. And in Contribute, we're going to set up a website connection to our website. We're going to take a look at how you would administer a Contribute website, and we're also going to take a look at how a user would interact and edit web pages using Contribute. The great thing about Contribute is its simple workflow. We simply browse to a page that we want to edit. We click on the Connect button to connect to the site. We simply press the Edit Page button to open up this page in a WYSIWYG editor, and we can begin adding content. And the great thing about using Dreamweaver templates is that we can specify editable regions that can only be edited. So we can't edit the header, we can't edit the sidebar, we can only edit the page title, and we can only edit the page text. Once I'm ready to publish this, I can send it for a review, or I can save it for later. So we're obviously going to be pretty busy building out our project files using all of these great applications. I think if you're a web designer, an interactive designer, or a web developer, you're really going to like all the integration points between these applications. So let's get started.